This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of their affiliated organizations.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan from Ready to Connect, and yep, it's just me. It's just Ryan. So basically, Heather and Lisa, they were unavailable at the moment, but I just want to let you know that we are airing a previously recorded episode that Heather and I recorded with our guest Randy Ouelette from Card Readings by Randy, and stay tuned. It's a good one. Enjoy. All right, well, welcome back to Ready to Connect. We are so excited to have our guest today. He's a tarot card reader, and he has the company Card Readings by Randy. So we are so excited to interview Randy Ouelette. So Randy, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
We are so excited, Randy. This is just fun, and I don't get to see you enough, so we're really excited to kind of be here with you. So we're going to jump into these questions, and Randy, for those meeting you for the first time, who are you beyond your tarot cards?
Well, beyond my tarot cards, I am a job coach. I work for Goodwill. And so my job as a job coach is currently I have 7, we call them consumers, and my job site is the Wallingford Goodwill. And so I drive them to the Wallingford Goodwill Monday through Friday. Their work areas are all set up, and what they do is they hang the clothes in the back of the store. And so when you go to Goodwill, most of the clothes you see out on the floor are all hung by my guys, and it's my Goodwill, and there's other Goodwill stores, and there's a bunch of us job coaches, and so that's my real job. Reading is my side job, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
I'm so excited to hear that you work with individuals, giving them a place to be in our society, giving them a job, and I'm sure everyone you work with is very proud to have that job, and they don't get the top-notch job. Individuals out there in our society don't get the top-notch jobs, but it must make them feel so useful to be a part of something, and as a coach, oh my goodness.
They love their job, they love their work. These guys, they're like the best workers because they hardly miss a day, and they're so reliable and dependable. But I've been with Goodwill for 23 years, but beyond that, I'm 63 now, but beyond that, I've been doing this kind of work since my 20s. So
nice.
It spans many years doing this kind of work. So
that's fantastic. Great job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And regarding your other job, tarot readings, what first pulled you into the world of tarot and intuitive work?
Well, that goes back to my my grandmother. My grandmother, now she didn't do tarot. She read playing cards. And my aunt, her sister, also did playing cards. And so when me and my brother were growing up and my parents would go out somewhere, my grandmother would be babysitting us in their 1-bedroom apartment. And so there was like a little living room area, a little dinette section. And so she would have people over. Her saying was, I'm going to, being from Massachusetts, she would say, I'm going to have people over for cards.
The cards. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to be reading cards.
And it's not
tonight.
over, it's over.
Yeah. So they're going to park the car.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to do the cards. And so me and my brother had to be quiet. We couldn't watch TV, so we had to play quietly. And so there's my grandmother sitting maybe like 10 feet away, 15 feet away from us. and she's doing cards for people. And so, you're at elementary school and you think everyone's grandmother does this, and you're telling kids in school about it. Of course, during this time I was in parochial school, and my mother's like, don't tell anyone about your grandmother what she does, because it was very shunned upon back then. And then at one point, my grandmother, she had a tarot deck that she gave me, which she wasn't using anymore. And then she had a card reading that Zolar's book. That was the book that she had that she gave me. And so I think she knew there was something in me that said to her I could do this also. And so that's how it all kind of came about for me.
Yeah.
With
So
my grandmother.
growing up with having your grandmother doing, the tarot readings and the energy work around you, do you remember as a young man, what it was like to, when you got older, to understand like what she was doing, what kind of energy that made you feel like, what it made you feel? And
I just knew that she had there was a system that she used that was her own system. And for her it was about like for myself with the tarot, it's like with the playing cards for her, it's like finding the story in there for people. But I can't speak for her like energetically wise, like what she was tapping into, because I have to say I don't know what she was tapping into. Obviously she was tapping into something. There was something there. But as I was learning this and got more fluent at it, I learned along the way that it's that gut feeling, it's that intuition you have to go with. And that's pretty much it, where it all comes from.
yeah.
Do you remember what your very first reading was?
Yeah, I was reading. So she had this deck she gave me, which was this, again, it's the Zolar, and it was a tarot deck that Zolar put out. And so there was the tarot cards on one side, and there were these other fortune-telling cards on the other side. It was like a double printed deck.
Oh,
And it had the meanings of the cards written down. So now I am in 8th grade with this deck, bringing it to school. This is still parochial school. And I'm doing little readings for my classmates after class, waiting for the bus, and using the cards that way and doing their cards like that. I wasn't sure what I was saying sometimes, because I was just reading what the card was saying. And so that was my first memory of of reading for people, some of my classmates. And they must have liked it, because every couple of weeks they would ask me to bring the cards back in. So something must have been going right.
Absolutely. So did you always accept your gift, or was there a time where you kind of questioned what kind of gift you had in comparison with your grandmother or mom?
Well, I knew that it was the kind of like this quest of like really wanting to read the cards like real bad, but sometimes not really understanding it or knowing what it's supposed to be about. And then I started getting some business cards made up. This was many years ago, and putting up business cards. And this lady had called me, this young lady, and so she was renting a room from this older lady. So she had me go to her room to read the cards for her. And one of the things that I know I saw in the cards was about her moving. And so maybe about 3 weeks went by, and she said to me, I moved just like you told me I was going to. And I felt kind of responsible for that. But then and I realized that I said, I see a move here. There's a move around you. And that's how I said it. And so I turned around and I says, well, I didn't exactly tell you that you were moving, but, I said, if that's what you feel, what I said, that's okay. And then she said, can you just flip a couple cards right now and tell me what you see? And I said, no. I says, I don't do that. I'm not sure about that. And so after that, I just kind of shut it off because I wasn't sure what was going on. And I felt kind of weird about it and not right about it because I felt like, geez, did I tell her she was moving or did she hear me wrong and make the assumption, for herself what I said? And so I thought for the longest time. And it wasn't until back in 2008, this was after my mother had passed, where I decided to get back into doing the cards again. And that's when it all kind of clicked for me. It all kind of clicked and made sense and was going good. And so that's and moving on from that to what I can do now, that's what the journey's been.
Hey everybody, love Ready to Connect? Become a Patreon supporter for $1 a month, and that'll earn you a shout out or a credit roll.
Love Ready to Connect? Why not support us with a Ready to Connect enthusiast tier? For $5 a month, you get exclusive content as well as power voting on our next topics, in addition to everything you get as a Ready to Connect supporter.
If you love Ready to Connect and you want to become a Ready to Connect insider for $10 a month, in addition to everything that you'll get in the other two tiers, you will also get a chance to be a guest on our podcast. All tiers, no matter how you choose to support Ready to Connect, you will be getting the podcast episodes a day early.
Thanks for supporting us.
That's beautiful.
It seems like that may have stayed with you for a bit, but can you share a moment where a reading really stayed with you?
Let me think. So sometimes when I read for people, I tell them that sometimes I'm shown things, and it's in a box, and it's on the left of me, like eye level. And so I was doing a reading for this lady one time, and I'm shuffling the cards, and I see the box come up, and what's very strange is it's a picture that shows up in the box, and it is crystal clear. It is a solid picture. I know it's not like there, but it is a very clear picture. And in the box was like almost like a child's crayon drawing. So it was a blue sky. It was green grass. It was these tree trunks almost shaped like a carrot-shaped tree trunk, and then it was green triangular trees, a very like primitive kid's drawing of big tall trees. And I said to the lady, I says, and there was a row of them, and I said to the lady, okay, I'm being shown something that I need to tell you about. I don't know what this is, but maybe it'll make sense for you. I says, I'm being shown these big green tall trees. And right after I said that, she says, oh my God, I know exactly what that is. She says, a friend of hers had a neighbor who had these beautiful big old pine trees. And it was like a natural fence. They went from the front of the yard to the back of the yard. And her the neighbor had moved, and the new owners didn't like the big pine trees, so they cut every single one down.
Oh.
And so it was about the pine trees. It was the pine trees.
Yeah.
But she knew exactly what that was.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible when we can, as intuitives, as tarot readers, psychics, that when we can bring back a vision and a memory and maybe even heal the wound for her, right? Bringing that up.
Yeah.
She can,
Oh, yeah.
She can now heal that little piece. You do say that, tarot helps people move forward. How do you personally interpret the cards when someone feels stuck? I mean, it sounded like this woman wasn't consciously thinking about the trees, but it was clearly something her subconscious wanted to heal, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what do you do? How do you help people? How do you interpret, like, personally, when someone really feels stuck?
Yeah, so it's a lot of times it's I'm just trying to.
Is it a prediction,
So
Randy?
so it's what happens for me, readings are about things that are currently happening for somebody, but there's also the piece where there are things that don't make sense at the time because those are future things.
Right.
And I've had people who I've read for in the past say, I've learned, and I always tell people, take notes, pad and pen, take notes. And I tell people, when this reading's done, I'm not going to remember the reading. I said, so don't call me up and say, from 2 weeks from now, and say, remember when you said blah, blah? No, I'm not going to remember that. I always tell people, take notes.
No,
and
because
so,
it's immediate guidance, right?
Right.
And it's
right.
not for
and
you
so,
to hold on to because it's
right.
not yours.
Right, exactly. And so people have learned from my readings who come back to me. They say, I've learned from your readings that there are some things that don't make sense because those are things that have happened to me like 6 months later, and then they make sense to me.
And then it becomes something deeper, right?
Yeah. And again, and I always tell them, I said, well, I don't know what that is. I'm not sure. I said, well, take a note, write it down, take a note. So, for me, with the kind of work that I do, it's tarot reading for me also it's helping people. It's that same kind of thing for me. Like the work I do is helping my guys, and tarot reading is helping people. And I always tell people for a reading, I says, I don't want to know what's going on before the reading. Don't tell me anything. I like the cards to tell me the story. Mm-hmm. And so more often than not, when I'm doing that first spread, they're like, yep, I understand that. I know what that is. And so they know where they're headed, like in the right path. And then sometimes there are things that come through when they say, I needed to hear that. I was wondering about that. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And so it's confirming. It's a confirmation for them. It's a verbal confirmation of something that we'd be thinking about or thought of. And knowing that when I say it out loud, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense now because now I hear you telling me that. And I've been wondering about that. So, that's, again, that's the moving forward piece. Because sometimes they're waiting to hear that one piece of information that's going to help them out and make sense to them.
That's true. So, Randy, what would you say makes your readings different from others out there?
Okay, so I'm going to be very blunt, so don't mind me, because my mother was the same way.
Truth is power.
Yes. So I tell people I don't do fluff. And what I mean by that is when I put my cards down, I don't say, oh, the angels and your guides. That's like fluffy to me.
Yeah.
I don't do fluff. And I don't waste people's time for a reading. So I've gone to fairs where I see what I call a yard sale on the table, because they have like 20,000 crystals. They have all these other things around, and this one lady, I don't know I forget what it's called. Those little mini gongs that you ching 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 ching. Those little mini gongs.
Yeah.
So
the ting shas.
Yes, the ching ching.
Ting shas.
I think the ching ching. So anyway.
Hey, now some people like the ting shas. We can't disrespect it.
Well, this lady wasted like 10 minutes of this lady's time doing ching ching, ching ching, and then I want you to put the palm of your hands and my hands, and let's close our eyes and let's take 5 deep healing breaths together. Ready? Here we go. And I'm like, and this is helping because.
Right. Well, it's, and it figures, Randy, like somebody who's never had a reading with you, they're not going to get that, right? They're going to get something more positive, something more direct. But for somebody who's never had a reading, but because Ryan and I have had readings with you, so we know what we're going to get from Randy. But tell our listeners, tell these beautiful people that are listening to you, like, besides you're not going to get any fluff, tell them what you're giving them.
If you like what you're hearing and want to check out more podcasts from Artist Haven Media or are interested in recording a podcast at our studio, find out more information by visiting our website at artisthavenmedia.com.
I'm giving them honesty. Yeah. I'm giving them what I see is down there for them.
Yes.
How I feel, what the cards are saying for them. Mm-hmm. And my biggest word to use is there's no bullshit. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to bullshit you. I don't do that. Okay. No.
We're going to bleep out the swear word, but that's okay.
I'm sorry. No bull.
No BS.
No BS. No BS.
Oh, we are actually rated PG-13.
We are rated PG-13.
Well, lucky for you, Randy. So. We are rated PG-13. We will not have to take that out.
So, like I've had this one lady sat with me, and she said to me, "What if her father was not feeling well, and she knew he was dying?" And she said to me, "When is he going to die?" And I said, "I can't tell you that." I said, "I have no idea when he's going to die." And there are these expectations sometimes that people have as a reader that we know all. We don't know all. I don't know all. I can only tell you what I see down there.
And honestly, if I can interrupt,
yeah.
Even if I have a date of death, who am I to give that to them, right? Who are you to give that to them?
Right.
I believe there's free choice in this world, and we have free choice, right, Ryan?
Sure.
And so who am I to say, oh, you're going to die on XYZ, but your soul's saying, no, I choose differently. I want to do differently, and you reset your whole world, right, Randy? Like,
oh yeah,
that's not that as a psychic medium, as a tarot reader, knowing you, that's not for anybody out there to go and give.
Right,
know?
Right. And sometimes too, when I read for people, like I know I've hit a nerve. So, for an example, the last Astro Fair I was at, this guy came and got a reading from me. He was one of the volunteers, and in the second part of the reading, there was somebody there who calls him, and he doesn't like this phone. It's a very aggravating, annoying phone call. And right after I said that, he just sat there. And he just sat straight up and he said, "That is not my life. That is not my life." And I was like, wow, that hit a nerve. And so sometimes I can't help but feel that with this guy, when I said that to him, that was a true thing, because his reaction was a genuine reaction.
Yeah.
And I've learned that when people have this a visceral reaction, like a physical reaction that way and verbal reaction that way, that something in the air makes sense for that person.
Right. But you know what the reality is, that, and Ryan can contest to this, the truth hurts. And sometimes we're not ready to face that truth.
Right.
So instead of saying, no, let's move on from this question, we stand up and they go, no, that's not me. You're lying. No, no, or that's not my life.
Yeah.
So I can empathize with that. You know, there are many people that come to psychics, sometimes or even tarot readers like yourself, who think it's not as serious as it is. And then when you tap into that spot where the truth is really out there, but they're not willing to face that yet, right?
Exactly. And so I've learned now, because I was in, I have my degree in human services, and one of my classes I had was a counseling class. And so when something like that happens, or somebody reacts that way, I don't get defensive. You can't get defensive.
No, you can't.
And I just say, you know, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but just keep it in mind. Just keep it in mind. Right. That's what I got to do. That's all I ask you to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. That's the honest way to handle that is just, you know, tuck it in the back. And when you're ready to handle it, I'll be here for you. If not, you know, I wish you well, but here's the next thing, and move on, right?
Right.
I had another lady once have an affair, and there was something about two men around her. Wow. She sat there, same thing, sat straight up, and she said to me, I have no men in my life at all.
Okay.
And so first they thought, okay, so you must have been hatched from an egg. I didn't say that, but in my mind, that's what I'm thinking.
Hatched from an egg, yes. Sometimes I feel that way. No, I'm kidding.
and then I thought, so you have like no male co-workers, you have no male friends.
Yeah, I think when people do readings, Randy, and you probably agree with this, is when you bring up a opposite sex or a partner or somebody else, they automatically go to, it's a partner, or it's my husband, it's my wife, or whatever, right? Instead of going, oh yeah, I have lots of friends. I'm around all these people, right?
Right.
Wider.
Yeah. It widens the perspective, but I think people.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think some people really do get kind of trapped in this. Oh my God, what are you saying? No, I don't have any men in my life, and you're like, yeah, you do.
Just ask those eggshells you kept all those years. You know,
exactly. Exactly.
And Randy, speaking of readings and questions, what kinds of questions bring out the most powerful readings?
Where's the questions? Let's see. Geez.
It's a $1 million question right here.
So I think, I mean, for myself, it's, we get a lot of the basic questions. Am I going to fall in love? Am I ever going to get married? Am I going to die alone? What do you see for my, future
career, probably
the basic stuff. But like for me as a psychic, there's like some specific things where you're like, wow, you're digging deep in there,
Well, I just had a lady I read for last week, and she's one of my clients who calls me like every 6 months, and she likes to ask about her sons, but it's always the same thing, and I don't turn around and say to her, oh my God, this is the same thing you asked me last time. I don't do that, because you have to respect the person too. And if she wants to ask me the same question, and it's she wants her sons to be married, and do you see them getting married soon? And it's like, and what I say is, your one son, who's the oldest son, I said, he's a very smart guy. And I said, his whole thing for himself right now is about his career and his job and doing really well at his job. And she says, yes, that's true. And I said, so when he's ready to meet somebody, when he feels it's the right time for him, it'll fall into place for him. But I said, my feeling is that it's just not right now, maybe a couple years down the road. And I says, I'm not certain about that, but it could be that, And
It sounds like to me that you try to give your clients clarity and transparency.
oh yeah,
So,
because yeah.
what does a life-changing reading look like to you when you're being, giving that clarity and transparency?
Well, one of the things in the readings, I know it's always the main. I call it like the bread and butter reading, the main part of the reading, the beginning piece with the 14 cards I put down, is the interesting cards that show up for me are the Tower card and the Death card. And so
let me stop you for one quick second. Just for somebody listening to this podcast, explain what the short explanation of what the Tower card is and what the Death card is.
Sure.
Because we don't want anybody who's never done tarot to walk away thinking if they pull the Death card, they're going to die, right?
Right. And so anytime I'm putting the cards down and that card shows up, because it just shows like a skeleton on a horse. And I understand that can be scary looking.
And this is which card? The Death card?
This is the Death card.
Okay.
And people go, oh my gosh. And I said, no. I said, it's okay. I said, death. So I jump right to it and say, death is about change. I said, so it is death in a way. I said, because something is dying, but something is going to be reborn also. I said, that's what death talks about. I said, but we'll get more into that, when it comes time to read this card. And then the Tower, so the Tower shows a tower with lightning striking it and like people like falling off the tower. And I tell people that's about chaos. And so I go into about chaos and I say how, chaos comes into our lives because we're going along. And I said, life decides to throw a wrench in the works and say, I'm going to put a stumbling block up for you now, and let's see what you do about this. And so I tell people it's getting through the chaos. It's finding your way through it. It's like sometimes you're like, in that murky swamp and you can't see ahead of you with the fog, but you keep on going to find out what's going to be happening, to find your way through. And I always reassure people that the result of chaos, change comes from the chaos. Change is always there at the end result. I said, so chaos is lousy, yes, but I said the end result that's good is change. And so that's what the Death card in the play is about, the change. And I tell them that it's very simple change. I say, like, when I say simple change, like walking through a door is simple. A wave on the ocean is simple. It just happens. You don't have to do anything to make it happen. It just comes to you and it happens. And I tell people that change can be a big, big thing, or change can be a very small thing also. Right. And I said, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. You will get through it just fine.
And speaking of the cards, do you have a favorite card? This one on the list, but I was curious.
Let me see. Favorite card.
I'd have to say mine's the Wheel of Fortune.
That's a good one.
The Sun card.
That's a good one.
I like the
Three of Wands.
Yeah.
I like the Magician card.
Yeah, there we go.
Telling. So here's my story with the Magician for people. So sometimes my cards have developed different stories along the way, but here's my Magician story card. I say, Magician shows up to remind you that you have the means and the power within you to get things done for yourself. Right. And so then I say the following. I said, I'm going to use the Wizard of Oz as an example. And I say, so it's the end of the movie, and there's Dorothy with Glenda, and there's Dorothy's gang, and the wizard's taken off in the balloon, and Glenda turns around to Dorothy and says, you've always had the power to go home. And Dorothy says, I have. And she says, yeah, ruby slippers. So I said, Magician shows up to remind you that you have your own pair of ruby slippers to click 3 times and get your stuff done for yourself.
Right.
And so I like to use imagery like that sometimes. So it's a visual for people, so they can see it and they hear it and it makes sense to them. They can relate to it.
So that sounds like to me like you're, the following question we had for you was, what do you wish more people understood before getting a reading? And it sounds like this is the perfect spot to ask you that question.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Can you say it again now? I'm sorry.
What do you wish more people understood before getting a reading?
Okay. Like I said earlier, readers and psychics and all, we do not have all the answers. I can only tell somebody what the cards tell me. I'm not going to make stuff up. I want to hear this. I want to hear that. People can say, and I say to people, I can't guarantee that's going to come through in the cards. And it's giving the reader a chance for you to tell them what they see for you. And but again, I think the biggest thing is that we must know everything there is to know. Like people, the other things I don't like to answer is people ask me health questions, and I don't like health questions, and I tell people, I can't tell you that. And I know there are some people, they call themselves, I think, some kind of a medical psychic or intuitive psychic or something like that. But I don't feel comfortable with that kind of stuff. My aunt has cancer. Is she going to be okay? I don't know. I can't tell you that. I wish I could, So I don't feel comfortable with those kinds of questions. And again, it's the story that comes through for me in the cards. So
so the cards kind of lead you, is what you're saying? So, the intuition kind of leads you.
Yeah. So basically is the first part is I put 14 cards down. So there's 7 up top and 7 on the bottom, and then the cards in the middle, those I push those down, those 2 down from the 3 and the 3, and then that's what I call the immediate thing that's currently going on for you. So I read those 2 cards as the main thing that's going on for them. And most people I read for, they say, yeah, that's true. And the thing for me, too, as a reader is that I'm not a go-by-the-book tarot reader, because there's so many books out there that say, oh, this tarot card means this, and this tarot card means that. And that's fine. I think that's fine when you're first starting out to learn tarot. But there's that part where you have to put that aside, and there's that intuitive piece that has to come through. And so sometimes there's cards that there's 3 up top and 3 on the bottom, and all those cards may be all connected together, but then there's a feeling where just 2 of those cards connect, and then the 4 other connect. So it's finding those connections that make sense with the cards also. And it's just a knowing of what makes sense with the cards for the person. Right. That's the only way I can describe it.
That's fantastic.
Right. And for someone who might be feeling stuck right now, what's one piece of guidance you could offer without even pulling cards?
I would just say, if you're feeling stuck right now, find that one good friend that you can confide in and talk to, and tell that person how you feel about how something's going on in your life right now. Or, maybe there's someone around that person that's not making them feel good. So-and-so has not been making me feel real good lately, and I want to know if I can tell you how I feel about what's going on about that. And anyone who was a good friend, and not a gossiper, but a good friend, will take the time to sit down with that person either on the phone or over their house or somewhere having coffee or tea or dessert somewhere, and having those conversations and not being afraid to share how they're feeling, because that's the most important thing you can do with someone, even without getting any kind of reading, is something's going on and I need to talk to somebody how I feel about that.
Right.
And if
then you call Randy for a tarot reading. And then you call Heather and Lisa for a psychic reading and maybe some Reiki healing to clear out all that stuff. Right?
There you go. And what I'm also going to throw in there also is, if you can't find that person, or there's no person you feel you can talk to about that, then find a counselor, find a therapist you can talk to, because that can make such a world of difference, because they're going to be objective and listen to what you're saying, and then give you feedback, and then give you ideas or suggestions, maybe some exercises to do to help you along the way, to help you out. And I've done that. I've been there. I've gone through that, and it has done me a world of good to have someone to talk to like that, where I didn't feel I could confide in somebody.
Well,
So
when we have friends, when we have professionals in our life that we can counsel with, you know, we can form our own opinions and our own choices. And then when you're on that route, right, they call Randy, and Randy can put some clarification around the new path, right? Or they call Heather and Lisa and they get clarity around that new path, right? There's always guidance available. It just depends on what kind of guidance you need.
Exactly. Right? There's always, you know, there's always, well, I'm going to use a weird example because this just came to me. It's like Clarice, you know, and Rudolph. There's always tomorrow.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
And there is always tomorrow. And
can you sing that for us, Ryan?
No.
Randy's doing a great job singing it right now.
I'm not frowning right now, but he's like, your voice is giving me a cold sore. But
You're awesome.
But yeah, so there's lots to a reading. There's many things about a reading. There's different directions a reading can take. And I don't know what's going to come out with the reading when I put cards down. I don't know what cards are going to come down. And I'm doing a reading for a lady one time, and I do the beginning part of the reading, and she said to me, "How did you know what cards to pick?" I says, "What do you mean?" She says, "All those cards that you just told me about," she says, "that's all very correct information you just gave me." And I said, "I didn't pick them. I shuffle them and I draw them out." And I always say that it's my guy. I call my guys my gang. It's my gang that pulled them out, that made those cards come out. And this is what you needed to hear. It's what you needed to hear.
Exactly. I like to say that too when I'm doing readings, that it's, you know, the person's getting the message that they need to hear, not what they want to hear.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And it always, you know, as long as I have been doing this, I am always still fascinated reading for people, what they have to say about what I'm telling them. It just, I'm always floored by it, because at the end sometimes I put when the reading's done and they're done with it and they walk away, and I sit there and I say, "Oh my God," I'm like, that was like pretty good.
So you do still get shock value.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Isn't it great? Like, even
after
all these years, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
That just happened.
So I'm going to give you a really good example of shock. A really good example, if I may. So I'm at a fair doing a reading for this young lady, and there was this knowing piece that came through, and it wasn't anything to do with the cards. and I said to her, there is a singer in your family. No. I said, there is someone in your family. This is an older person, and she is a singer. No, I don't sing. I don't know. No. And I said to her, just write that down and keep it in mind. I says, because I'm going to go back and tell you again. I'm going to shove this down your throat. I'm being told there is a singer in your family. So the fair was done. I come home, and John said to me, some lady just called you about this young girl you read for, about a singer in the family, and she wants you to call her. I'm like, oh, okay. So I call, and here's the lady who was the singer in the family who used to sing as a backup singer for all these 50s and 60s groups.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
And I was like, and the granddaughter didn't know this because she never talked about it after she was all done doing it. So the granddaughter had no idea. It wasn't until she asked, and she was sitting there, she says, oh, that was me. I was a singer. So it was what that really meant for me. The message with that was, don't lock that away. She locked that away so deep inside of her that she forgot all about it and didn't talk about it. And so here's the guide saying, talk about it, share this. This is a wonderful gift you had. And it's okay to still talk about it and to reminisce about it. So it was her learning the lesson not to shut that out. It was okay to still talk about it.
Right.
And I was completely, I was stunned. I was like, oh my God. I was stunned.
That's so cool.
What do you think is unique about having someone pull tarot cards for someone? Or how do I say that? I think I said that wrong. What just happened?
Well, you better say it right.
Totally went into a multiverse there.
You better say it right this time, miss.
We might have to edit this out, Chris. I mean, there's something about pulling cards for yourself, right? And but there's also something very unique about having someone outside, read for you. What's your perspective on that? What's the difference between pulling your own cards and maybe having Ryan and I pull your cards, or another professional?
Right. Here's the thing: is I've never pulled cards for myself because you can't really. My opinion is you cannot objectively read for yourself. That's my opinion. I don't pull cards for myself. I know some people do, like they pull like a daily card out to see, oh, how's my day gonna go? Things like that. I don't. I've never done that personally, and I don't do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I just don't do it.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I will say that for me as a reader to get readings from people, I still find that very fascinating. And I've had some people read for me where I'm like, I don't know. And then and there are some people I've got some really good readings from. And so it's I think if you can resonate with a lot of what you're being told by the reader, I think that's you're headed down the right path there. Mm-hmm. Because things have to resonate, and sometimes there are things you have forgotten about, and you're like, oh geez, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's true, and so that's and again, very simple for me. I shuffle the cards, and I get the feeling when to stop, and I just deal out the first 7 on top and the first 7 on the bottom. And if someone says, "Can I pick the cards up?" Yeah, I'll let them pick the cards if they want to pick the cards up. I give them the choice, the option. They can do that. I don't have a problem with that. you
I
know.
know there's readers out there that say, and of course there's, all kinds of verbiage out there like you shouldn't let other people touch your deck and whatnot. I know for myself, I have my own personal deck that nobody touches, but then I have like 74 other decks where anybody can touch them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that the same for you, or do you just use one deck for everything?
I have my one. So the one deck that I use, it's the Rider-Waite deck, and now I want to talk about my mother again because she only read playing cards. Like my grandmother only read playing cards. One of my mother's clients one time gave her a tarot deck, and I found this deck. This was when I was with my mother in her apartment, and she was dying from cancer. So I was with her, and I was going through some of her drawers of stuff, and I found this tarot deck, and I realized this is an unopened deck, still sealed in the box. And so at that time, my mother, mental status-wise, she couldn't really, talk or communicate or anything like that. So I said, oh, I'm going to keep this deck. So I kept the deck. And then that deck that was my mother's unused deck, that became my deck. So that's my one deck that I use all the time.
Nice.
So I have that. There's that connection with that deck with my mother.
Right.
There's a cloth that I have aside, a folded up, very old cloth scarf, a polyester scarf. That was my grandmother's scarf, and so my mother's cards sit in two piles on my grandmother's scarf. So there's my mother's cards on my grandmother's scarf.
That's beautiful. Lisa, I'm sure she won't mind that I share this story, but Lisa has a scarf from her mother, and it's a astrological scarf. It's very pretty silk, and Lisa does keep that with one of her special decks that she has, and we honor her mom every time we pull that deck out. It's really.
Yeah.
Do you have more than one deck? Do you have something, that you do kind of like that?
I do have a couple decks, but there is one deck in particular that I enjoy using most, and it's a bunch of crows. So,
yes.
So I enjoy birds. But I don't have anything that I keep it in. Not yet. Maybe I'll find something.
Okay.
Try to find yourself a nice wooden box. I love wood. This is a box I got at the Astro Fair. Put on by the Connecticut Astrological Society when they used to be at the Keating Memorial Building. And this was a handmade wood box with red felt lining, and wood burned on the box is the butterfly.
Wow.
I feel like you probably had a wood burn box when you were younger.
I did.
Do you know where that box is? No. It might still be in your room at home.
I know. Perhaps, I have to go look, or it could be downstairs somewhere.
It's finding something that resonates with you.
Yeah.
It's gonna resonate for you.
Oh, I got Ryan's wheels spinning over here.
I know.
Where's that box?
Because I actually had, speaking of boxes now, so I actually used to do like a wood burning kit type of thing, and I used to just like design random stuff on wood and like burn into it. So. Yeah, I do have a box somewhere.
All right.
I have to go looking for it.
Mission.
Yeah.
That's right.
I know. Thank you both for making me think of a wooden box.
Looking. Is there is there an attic? You have an attic?
At my parents' house, yes.
So somewhere in the attic. Somewhere in the attic, in a corner area in the attic, is what you need to be looking at.
A box of all your old toys.
I can imagine. Yes, that's probably where it would be. Yeah, they still have stuff up there. So yeah.
And even excitingly, like maybe when you find that box, you could probably make some money on your old toys.
Oh, that's true.
Because that's a big market right now.
That's true. It's a good point. I know, right? Yeah.
Boy, if I had my old toys when I was a kid,
Right? All our Star Wars, all our
Oh,
He-Man and
jeez.
She-Ra,
Yeah.
like all those toys that we used to. What was it? Buck Rogers doll and like. Yeah, I'm dating
I had
myself. Sorry.
I had the Lost in Space
Yeah.
robot.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh man.
So, speaking of cards, if the cards could leave our listeners with one message today, what would it be?
Let's see. One message.
Well, maybe a multi-message.
Yeah.
Sure. That
So
You know, they-
your
that they
cards
will-
right
they
there,
will-
you can pick a card.
wherever you are in your life, know that the cards are there just to help you, as a reminder, what your path is for yourself. You know, where you need to be going for yourself. And and is there going to be negative stuff? Yeah, but you know what? Life isn't perfect, and that's okay. And you learn to get around that negative stuff. And you also have the right to say, I'm not going to listen to this stuff. I don't need to listen. And it's all about where you want to be in your life, where you want to go for yourself, and the cards. Again, you hit that roadblock, and the cards can help you find maybe not the direct pathway. Sometimes the pathway may be like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, here, there, and there to get there, to the Emerald City. And that's life. It's finding your path. It's guiding you along the way and letting you know that you'll get there. And again, it isn't perfect, but that's okay. Card
doesn't
readings
need to
are
be
not
perfect.
perfect, and that's okay.
If we
But-
didn't have if we always had perfection, we wouldn't know the imperfections of how to move
Right.
forward, right? And make
That's
it
true.
Right.
So,
And imperfection is all part of life.
mhm.
It's all part of what goes on around us. And it's how you can either choose again, it's choices you make. You can choose to ignore the good stuff going on around you, and you can be in your own shell. You can choose to be depressed. You can choose to just lock your doors, lock your windows. Those are all choices. You are choosing to do that kind of stuff. You let a little bit of light in. Oh, it's so nice out here. Look how it looks outside today. And you open the curtains more, and you open the blinds more, and now you're choosing to let more light into your life every day. And it's like, gee, this feels really good. I'm glad I did this. And you see the difference in what's happening around you. People see you changing. People see you changing. And change is the biggest thing there is that anyone can do for themselves. But again, it's choosing, making those choices, how you want to be in your life, how you want your life to go. People around you don't dictate that to you. You dictate that to yourself.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, speaking of, the correlation, right, and whatnot, we actually do an affirmation for all our podcasts, or at least we try to. And seeing how we're talking about the tarot cards and giving us aspects and whatnot, we thought maybe we could pull one tonight and read it before we let
Sure.
you go.
Sure.
All right, so we're gonna give those a little mix around. Go ahead, Ryan, reach
Oh,
in
I'm
there.
picking it? All right, I
Yeah,
thought you were gonna do
reach in.
Okay.
Get it.
All right, so it's one or two here.
All right.
Well, here we go. I am happy, healthy, and complete.
What a beautiful affirmation.
See?
I am
And then-
happy, I am healthy, and I'm complete.
And again, it's like I said, you choose to have that happen in your life.
That's right.
You
You
know,
can choose
it's-
to be miserable, unhappy, and incomplete.
Right.
Or you can
Right.
choose to fight and be happy, be complete, and find a way to succeed.
Yeah.
Firmly believe that.
And again, those it may not be easy, but you get there and you come out a stronger person.
That's true.
And people will see that, and they will respect you because of what you did.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And if we don't evolve, then you're kind of stuck, and that's no fun.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like for myself, last year my husband died last year in November, and so I could have chosen to be very depressed and unhappy, and I said no, I can't do that. He wouldn't have wanted me to be this way.
That's right.
So I was choosing not to do that, and I can't tell you how much. I've gone through a lot, but has it all been good? No, it's been difficult sometimes, but my life has been so different now. It's changed so much for the better, because since that time when he died, I have found a new me for myself.
That's right. And you're incredible, Randy.
Thank you very much.
Person. I've known you for a long time.
Yes.
I think I was looking back at it, and I think I've known you for over 16 years at this point.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this too, Heather. One of my reader friends at the Astrofair there, Bunzy, when she saw us and I could just see the look on her face doing like, well, how does he know them? And
from way back old school.
Yes, that's right.
Old school is standing in a gymnasium.
Oh my gosh. I have to say those spheres that Rebecca did, those were fun.
Yeah, those were the days for sure.
Those were real fun. Did you know she moved to New Hampshire now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about for her.
I'm excited for her, and I wish her well in her journey. I wish everybody well. It's not a competition. I hope we all win. Right?
Yeah.
So cool. Wow.
Hey, Randy, before we let you go here, I have 2 more questions here. Are there any upcoming events where listeners can find you? Also, where can our listeners find you and your services? Online,
sure.
Social media.
So I don't have anything upcoming as of yet. This past June, I think it was 2 weekends ago, was the last the Astro Fair. I call it the Astro Fair. It's put on by the Connecticut Astrological Society. The last one for the year, I think, comes up in I think it's November. But I have my own website, which is cardreadingsbyrandy.com. You'll find a little blurb about me on there. There's a picture of my mother and my grandmother. Talks about, my past with them. It talks about the readings themselves. And I also list my events on there. I am also on Instagram under Card Readings by Randy. And I usually post different things with my cards on there. If I'm smudging things before a reading, if I'm having a reading in my house here, a phone reading, I'll take a picture sometimes of my reading area and post that. But I have a bunch of information on my Instagram also.
What's your Instagram?
It's Card Readings by Randy. My
and
Instagram.
Is that your Facebook as well?
Yes.
And are you on TikTok?
I am, but I don't do much with TikTok though.
Okay.
But mostly it's the Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, it's also my website. And there was a store in Wallingford called Crescent Moon, and I do read from that store. But again, when I am doing readings from that store, I will post that also.
Okay.
But nothing right now with Crescent Moon Shop.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all right.
Well, thank you
all
for
about
sharing
Randy. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. This has been really, really, really nice, you guys. I really appreciate it.
This is fantastic. It was great connecting with you.
Absolutely.
Wish you all the best, and
Thank you.
we'll see you soon.
Yeah,
All right.
I hope so. Yes.
Until then, to our
Yes.
listeners, thank you for being letting us be in your ears. And we hope you enjoyed Randy, and myself and Ryan thoroughly had a great evening with Randy.
And get ready to connect.
Get ready to connect.
Thank you for tuning in to Ready to Connect. If you're interested in exclusive behind-the-scenes content, be sure to like, share, and follow us on social media by searching for Ready to Connect Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And for those looking to further support our podcast, consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/readytoconnectpodcast. And until next time, get ready to connect.